About the early 80s, I started directing television commercials. I had a partnership with a guy named Terry Kirby. We were called the Kirby Kirsch Film Group. And we would hire different kids who would come in on a freelance basis to do different jobs. One of the guys who came in frequently, who was a very good guy, we liked him a lot, so we'd hire him repeatedly, ended up getting a job at New World Pictures as a vice president of production. That was Donald Borchers. He called one day and said, you know, for all the times you put ice cream in my freezer because I was out of work and you let me use your offices and you helped me, I got a bunch of pictures. Do you want to make a movie? Now I've got one that's a definite go. It's a Stephen King story. This horror film, it's going to be big. It's perfect. You guys know how to do this. Low budget, on a schedule, call your friends. The uniqueness of the character. Someone who was a demonic leader who had to be like a child. And we saw a lot of different actors who were too old. Let's say we saw actors that had one or two of the qualities but didn't embrace all of it. And then John came in and we said, wow, this man is unique.
I had literally been in town in Los Angeles about 6 weeks. Walked in, got an agent like that because I looked like I was 12 years old and I was 23. And then they sent me in on Children of the Corn audition 6 weeks after I got there.
And I had this knife in my pocket.
So at the moment where he had to take him hostage, Courtney pulled out a huge machete knife and grabbed Jeff, this poor young man.
I pulled it out and I put it right under his chin. And it's not a real knife. It's like, a stage, prop knife, like, kick, right? But he didn't know that.
And Jeff went through the roof.
He pretty much, quite frankly, shit his pants.
Get out! Leave me alone! I don't want anything to do with this guy. These men are crazy. I quit. I'm never doing this again.
But I remember when I did it, so Linda Francis, the cast director, and Fritz turned to each other and go, because I took the room over at that point.
So he was great. So he was just an immediate fit. We had maybe 8 weeks of pre-production and then took off. We're in Iowa for about a week before we began shooting, and then let's just go. Bing, boom, bang, boom. 4 weeks. The people in that part of the country were terrific. They embraced the whole opportunity. We said, can we stop traffic? Can we board up the buildings? Can we ask all the citizens to stay indoors? Of course, no problem. And we'll make a cake for you. And afterward, could you come to barbecue? And then we're having casino night. Would you guys like to come to casino night?
Like, I'd go have dinner at people's houses and meet their families. Well, I'm a city kid, so going to this really small rural town, it was actually really refreshing for me. Everybody was in, jeans, a t-shirt, and a jean jacket, and rode horses, and we're just, everybody drove a truck.
I just remember it being such a warm, incredible experience.
You couldn't ask for anything more. They were just absolutely generous and very, very nice. Bob Fernandez was really, really ill that day. He stayed on the set, but because he was so sick, he made a mistake in setting the aperture on the camera, and it came across completely black. So the nice part of the shot is that after it's all black and the door swings open, there's this beautiful Rembrandt side soft yellow light that streams in, and it creates this quality that's really quite good. Magic happens with mistakes. It was a very young cast.
Now the blood of Amos will be shared.
They don't understand and don't have the depth that a more polished actor, an adult, might have. Someone who's done it for 20 years, certainly. A friend of mine who was a cinematographer in television commercials had been making a series of tests for a motorcycle company, injecting ink into a liquid and photographing these kind of cloud-like events. And I said, what are you going to do with those? Those are cool. So he gave me the negative, I turned it upside down, gave it a color, put it in the sky, and that's what the monster is. It's some borrowed footage. We went out early, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and set up until we got to nightfall.
It was the big event that took, hours and hours and hours.
We had a peanut gallery from the different cities in the neighborhood.
There was lots of people there.
Maybe 500 people show up on pickup trucks, lawn chairs, coolers, barbecue units to watch this explosion go up.
And again, everybody waited forever.
It was going to be a big deal.
Come here! Block the wind!
And it did very well.
Stephen King's Children of the Corn, an adult nightmare.
It really made a splash in pop culture. The kids that lived in the Midwest, it was like Jaws for them. I can't tell you how many Midwestern kids were like, you don't understand, I watched this movie and I had a cornfield out in the backyard, man. I couldn't sleep after that for like a week. I'm like...
When the movie first opened, I would go into restaurants and sit down at a table with my friends. A woman would look over at me and scream, go, ah, And then she would run out of the restaurant, and then like everyone else is going, what's the matter, what's the matter? And then she would come back in, and she goes, that boy, he's so scary, I can't sit next to him. And she would literally make the waiter move her entire party to another table because she just couldn't bear to sit next to me.
I mean, lots, like hundreds have told me that.
People still could see me in malls and go, hey, you're that creepy kid.
Oh my God, you're Malachi, you know. You freaked me out, man.
It's fantastic. It turned into a franchise. That movie became a tentpole of a franchise that went into 6 or 8 sequels. No one had that expectation or ever thought that it would go beyond one film.
They were able to milk it for all it's been worth, you know?
I think it's really cool because it's just become a part of culture. Any Stephen King fan knows me and that part and knows that film. And it's just made such an impression.
Say, well, here's your $7 back. I'm sorry for your children. I'm sorry for the problem I caused you. I'm sorry for the psychiatrist that you saw through your teenage years. Here's your money.